Is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea? Then the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as we deliver the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Weird News Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Heidi, and instead of being joined by the wonderful Ariane, I am in fact joined by the wonderful Tate.
Hello, everyone. How you doing?
You might know Tate from some other GSMC podcasts, but I get the pleasure of hosting with him for Weird News on this episode. And I am excited because this is a story that is not new to Weird News. This might be new to Tate, though. In a previous Weird News episode, we had talked about a man who is in the Netherlands, and he is 69 years old, but he wanted to lower his age to 49, legally. So not just like telling his friends, but he legally wanted this changed on his birth certificate. And I think this is weird. Ariane thought this was weird. Tate, what do you think about this?
I don't know. It's one of those things where, we were talking about this before the show, that sometimes you're kind of pigeonholed into your age. Mm-hmm. How old did you say he was?
He's 69.
So he's 69, so he's almost 70, but maybe he's a super fit guy who's extra active, and maybe for dating purposes, he doesn't like to lie to people, and he likes to date someone who's younger and more active. So I can understand why you would want to say you're younger, because people look at you. There's a whole different connotation to, oh, he's 69 opposed to 59. So I can understand that, but you would just do it the old-fashioned way and just lie.
Well, that's what I thought. And you're hitting the nail on the head, because he is 69, but he feels that when he's 69, he's limited. So a quote from him is saying, when I'm 69, I am limited. If I'm 49, then I can buy a new house, drive a different car. And he also said he can take up more work. And this is related to dating, because he feels like it will better his chances on Tinder.
Okay.
So you are probably right into what he's thinking.
Mad props for him on the thinking in advance with the Tinder situation, because I don't think there's a lot of 69, 70-year-old dudes on Tinder, and he's swiping left and swiping right. So I understand the whole Tinder side of things. But as I think about this, he is onto something. If he's 69 and he wants to get insurance, it's going to be a lot more expensive because of his age. If he, as far as driving goes, sometimes when you get to a certain age, after a certain age, in some states, they require every year that you go in and get an eye check. Or every year you have to go do a driver's test again. There's a lot of things that the world is no longer. You're not the preferred people that are attracting. Even when you think about movies and things, they don't make movies for 69-year-olds and even 60-year-olds. They don't make movies for anymore. So he is right that you do get discriminated, and especially if you're kind of a guy that's young at heart and want to get out there, it does make it a little tougher. And then I'm going to give an example of a story where I had a friend of mine. He's older than I am, and he became single, and he wanted to start dating and getting out there. And he was one of those guys that was always in good shape. He loved to travel the world. He made really good income. And he was just young at heart, and he looked young. And he was like 60, 61 at the time. And he went on to, I think it was Match, Plenty of Fish. Mm-hmm. And the only people that were coming after him were like retirees, where he's still attracted to active singles. And these people were retirees who wanted to find their last partner in their life. Hate to say that, but it does discriminate against you a little bit. That's my opinion.
Right. And I feel like I get what you're saying, and I understand how he could feel discriminated against in certain senses, especially like in media portrayals. Like there's not really anyone who's like 69 on screen, you know, unless you're watching like AARP infomercials. Yeah. Like it's not very often you're going to find that. And a quote that I have of him is, he says, "I feel much younger than my age. I am a young god. I can have all the girls I want."
Whoa. But did he say, whoa. I got a little woozy here. Did he say he's a young guy or young god?
A young god. That is his quote.
G-O-D, not
yes.
G-U-Y.
Yes. Yes, that's what he said. That's his opinion of himself.
This guy's pimp hand is strong. I'm a young god?
Yeah. He said, "I can have all the girls I want, but not after I tell them that I am 69.
Wow, I'm a young god.
Also, I feel like just don't tell them you're 69.
Don't tell someone you're a young god either.
Yeah, no, don't. That's a bad dating tactic. Don't do that.
Okay, for all the guys out there, I know there's not a lot of guys, hosts on Weird News, but if you are single and you see a nice lady and you walk up and you say, "Yo, I'm a young god." That's gonna hurt your. That's probably why he's not getting dates on Tinder. His profile, he probably says "young god looking."
Oh yeah, that's an opening line. And if someone said that to me, I feel like they'd be like trying to like sell me something. You know, like some like vitamins or some like supplement that they're trying to get me to buy.
No, be a young god. Take.
Exactly. It's it's like a medicine.
Ultra Donkey Boost.
That's exactly what I think.
I'm sorry about that Ultra Donkey Boost. I gotta get some on Amazon soon. That is not a real product. Yeah, that's on the
shopping list for Christmas.
Get your special someone, Ultra Donkey Boost. Oh, sorry.
I also wanted to mention, so his name is Emil Ratelband, which is a great Dutch name.
Okay.
But one of the reasons he feels that he can go to get his age legally changed is because he feels that it connects to other discussions that have come up about gender and how some people can legally change their gender. So he's saying his argument of being able to legally change his name is related. And that's why he feels he has a case that he can bring to court, along with his grievances about the way society views him because that he is older.
Well, I think he has a point. It's crazy. I can't believe I'm going this.
This is very counter to what Ariana and I have said before.
I know, but I understand where he's coming from. Matter of fact, I was just at the gym the other day, and we live in California, and it was, I can't say this 100%, but it seemed like it was this woman that might have been a man once upon a time, a transgender person, which, you know, everyone has their right to do whatever they want. But she got off the treadmill, and I watched her walk into the women's locker room, and I was taken back by that for a quick second, and I was like, wow, how do you determine, you know, legally if she's allowed to walk in there? Because what's to stop a person that decides, someone who has more perverted views, I'm just going to throw on women's clothes and I'm going to walk in the women's restroom.
Yeah.
The women's locker room. How do you legally? So I'm just saying, I know that's now I'm going off the reservation a little bit here, but
people just tuned out.
Sorry, peeps. But I understand why he's saying that. Many people have said this. The older you get, the more you're discriminated against. And by legally changing his name, you no longer become that number. And so I do understand why he's doing that. So what did the courts decide on this?
So in the last time we brought this up, we mentioned that he was bringing this to the courts. And of course, for all the reasons we mentioned. Since then, the court has reached a ruling. And the court said that while he could come and protest this, the reason that the gender topic was brought to the courts and changed is because that was an issue that was being debated globally, and that the issue of wanting to change age, like for Emil wanting to change it to be lower, he is the only one that is talking about it. So it's not a global issue. It's only an issue that he feels he should bring to the court. And so because of that, they said that he had other legal means at his disposal if he really felt that he was a victim of age discrimination.
I say there are literally around the world millions of age discrimination cases that are filed every year around the country. So I disagree with the judge that just says he's the only one that has an issue with age discrimination, because if I hate that, you know, Mr. Greek God himself is the spokesman for age discrimination, but I do think he has a valid point on why. I'm looking at it through, let's say not him, but someone else who, like we were talking about this before the show, meaning to bring in your family here. Mm-hmm. Heidi's mom is a very active, super fit, attractive lady who, if she decided that she was going to date someone, she wouldn't, you know, someone that, a retiree who is happy just sitting in front of the couch, a couch potato, just wouldn't be attractive to her. They would change her dating profile. But if she put in that she was 60 plus, would attract a totally different group than if she could change her age and say she feels like she's 49. So she puts in 49, then you're getting people from their 40s, early 50s who are more attracted to her, who would be in her group, who, you know, your age is really how you feel and how you look in some cases. So if you look 35, but you're actually 50, hint, hint, I think of myself as that way. And yes, I'm a little older. I think you should have that right. I just think we have the wrong spokesperson. We've hired the wrong person for this message.
I think that the court is trying to say that not that he's the only person who feels this type of issue, but he's the only person seeking legal ability to change it on, like, his birth certificate. Yeah,
and I think the court looked at him and said, this guy's kind of a whack job, and we're not going to really take him serious. I think if there had been someone totally different, I think they would have considered it and taken it a lot more serious than who Mr. Greek God. I keep bringing that up, but yes.
I feel like reading about this, I definitely feel like he probably didn't help himself.
Yes.
You know, he probably just came up there and, you know, sauntered up and said that he deserves this, and he probably didn't approach it the right way. But I'm not saying that age discrimination doesn't exist. It definitely does. And I think the court was saying that if he feels he has a case of age discrimination, he can bring that up in other legal means, as opposed to a case that is just about, I want to legally change my birth certificate. And
now, if you're presenting a legal case, it's that whole concept of when keeping it real goes wrong. If you're talking to a judge and this is illegal, you're trying to get a legal statute changed, the last thing you want to bring up is that it'll help me on Tinder. You know?
Yeah, the worst piece of evidence.
Credibility out the window. See you later. I'm just saying, little bits and pieces that I'm hearing here is not helping this case. I think he is the problem.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, his lawyers probably aren't very happy about that either. I doubt they were happy about his approach.
I'm thinking that his lawyers were like, listen, we're taking our fee up front. We're
not going to get this back at the end.
Yeah, you got to pay in advance. Yes.
Right. And I think since we're on the topic talking about, I guess, ideas of age and things that we all have to deal with, I think I'm going to bring it on to something that we also all have to deal with, which is the approaching holiday season. Because I am excited about Christmas, I am excited about the holidays and all of the wonderful things like the food, but I am not excited about getting gifts for everyone. And I'm sure I am not the only one. This is whatever holiday you're celebrating, you always have to buy gifts, and I am a little nervous about that. So I want to bring up something that I think is an excellent gift for everyone on your list, which is Audible. And the reason Audible is so important is when you're on the go. If you like podcasts, you're probably always listening to things in your car. However it is, you can listen to books on Audible, and this is a great deal for anyone on your list. You don't have to worry about trying to get the perfect personalized gift. I would say this is a very universal gift. So if you're interested, right now for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Audible for just $6.95 a month. That's more than half off the regular price. You can give this to anyone on your list, but it can also be a gift for yourself. This is the gift of listening. And while you're at it, you can think about giving it to anyone else that you want. And you can go to audible.com/GSMC Weird News, or you can text the GSMC Weird News code to 500500. So don't forget this great deal right now. Get this for anyone on your list, or just treat yourself and get it for you.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts, past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
Welcome back to the GSMC Weird News Podcast. I am still your host, Heidi, but as we continue on this show, the wonderful podcast host, Tate, has stepped out. So unfortunately for all of you listeners, you are just left with me. So hopefully no one has turned off their podcast as soon as they heard me say that. Moving on to our next story, we are talking about another man, but this guy is from New Orleans, and let's just say he wasn't trying to legally change anything, but the law was definitely after him after this occurrence. So, what happened in New Orleans is that 30-year-old Arthur Posey walked into a Willie's Chicken Shack, and while there, he asked an employee what time the restaurant closed. When the employee told Posey that she didn't know, he allegedly replied, "Y'all about to close right now because I'm going to get a bomb and blow this place up." Now, obviously he's not on a plane, and I know that that's a big no-no on planes, but saying that you have a bomb or just mentioning blowing up a place is a big no-no no matter where you are. Like, if anyone just said that to me, if I was like in my house, in my car, like in a restaurant, I would always be scared. Because like nowadays there's like all of the shootings that are going on, and it can be a really scary time when threats really should be taken seriously. And this is awful to think about. Like, some guy walks in and says that he's going to blow the place up. Anyway, that's terrifying to me. So, obviously, when this happened, the restaurant kind of freaked out. And restaurant employees told the police that this man, Posey, was angry during the discussion, and that he told them this very inflammatory thing that he was going to blow the place up. But then Posey told the police that he wasn't referring to a bomb, an actual bomb. He said he was referring to the restaurant, or to the restaurant restroom, that he wasn't making any real threats. The employees said that he had never mentioned the bathroom when he made his alleged threat. And so now Posey faces 2 counts of communicating false information of planned arson, and he will also need to appear in court for a competency hearing. Now, if you're a little confused what he was talking about, let me see if I can say this in a way that will be appropriate. So he was not talking about an actual bomb. He was talking about using the restroom and having the aftermath of him going to the restroom be so bad that the place was going to blow up. This is... Okay, I know I said that before, that it's bad to mention a bomb anywhere, and it definitely still is, but if you're mentioning that your trip to the bathroom is going to blow a place up, I really hope you're only saying that to friends or people who understand. Also, you should probably not say that in an angry tone, because I really feel like anyone, even like anyone who's not a friend, like even an acquaintance or a coworker, will not know what you're talking about and will assume you actually mean a bomb threat, not that you just have a really bad like bowel situation going on. And also, those are the worst kinds of situations. So please, just if you have that kind of going on, maybe keep it to yourself or talk to a doctor. Don't make inflammatory threats that sound like you're going to blow up the restaurant. Also, why would this come up right after he asked what time the restaurant closed and they said they don't know? Like, that's weird. I don't know why them saying they don't know would connect to the bathroom. Like, maybe he's going to, like, go to the bathroom and he needs to be in there until the restaurant closes. I don't know what he was trying to say, but really, not a good idea. I feel really sorry for the employees in this restaurant. They shouldn't have had to put up with that. That is terrifying. I would definitely call the police if someone came up and told me that they were going to blow it up. Yeah, so please be careful with what you say. Once again, going back to the podcast tradition of after every story saying, please be careful. All right, I am excited about our next story. This is pretty fun. So we go from a potential bomb threat to a sort of a weird instance with a cow. There is a cow, and this is particularly a Holstein Friesen, I want to say, a Holstein Friesen steer who lives in Western Australia. And this is a giant cow. And this stands head to shoulders above any other cow competition around. And the cow's name is Knickers. It is a 7-year-old steer, and he lives on a farm near Lake Preston. And he is a whopping 6 feet tall, 4 inches. So that makes him 1.5 feet taller than any other steer, and he weighs twice as much. So he is considered the largest cow. This is insane. I also will say that I saw this on social media, and if you see a picture, I think I saw it retweeted on Twitter, if he's standing next to all the other cows, he is like a whole body bigger than the other ones. Like the other cows in a picture that I saw, and they might have been calves, I couldn't quite tell. They're only like the height of, like up to where his leg meets his body. He is huge, and weighs twice as much as a normal steer. That's insane, because cows are already giant. And so he was so big that he's too big for the usual processing. And that's according to his owner, Jeff Pearson, who says, we have a high turnover of cattle, and he was lucky enough to stay behind because he was too big. They couldn't process him. Like, that's like so many hamburgers. I'm sorry if anyone's vegetarian that I just am talking about processing a cow, but that is what this farm does. And that's what the rancher does and his owner, but he was too big for that. And he actually said that the reason the cow's name is Knickers is because really it's a guilt by association. So when the cow, Knickers, was really young, they had another steer, and who was a friend of his, and that steer was named Bra. So because of that, then they had to name Bra and Knickers, really, so they had like a pair. And then when Knickers got so big, he turned into Big Knickers, is kind of how they referred to him. Although my first question is, why do you have a cow named Bra? Like, I don't know if you're trying to say like, oh, like bra, like a surfer dude. I don't know. That's very strange to me. I'm not sure if maybe like he just had some other issue. Also, these are steers. So these are male cows, not female cows. Because typically the male cows are the cows that we process for meat and to eat. So I don't, like, maybe a female cow could make more sense to me why you would name her Bra because of udders and like things related to that. But I don't understand why a male cow is named Bra. So I would say that's my next question for this farmer. Also, they said that they referred to their friend like in the past tense. So I'm sad to say I would assume from this quote that Bra is no longer with us, and now Knickers does not have his buddy of a similar clothing type. So I'm so sorry, Knickers, that your friend Bra had to pass away. Go on to the great pasture and the beyond. So Knickers might have a case of being declared Australia's biggest steer, but he does actually have some competition because in comparison to another ox, he is actually kind of small. So there is a Chiania ox in Italy, and I believe that ox is named Bellino, and that ox stands 6 feet 7 inches, and that's according to the Guinness Book of World Records. And as I said before, Knickers is 6 feet 4 inches. So he's actually smaller than this ox in Italy. which is still amazing for me to imagine. That cow, Bellino, sounds huge. Like, Knickers already looks giant. I can't even imagine. Also, what do you even do with a cow that big? Like, I feel like you just ask people to pay to come see him. I guess you could ride him, but I feel like I wouldn't want to ride a cow. Like, they're slow, and I feel like you can't really control a cow very well for riding. Like, that's not what they're made for, and I wouldn't want to hurt the cow. But again, these are giant animals. So, Knickers is in Australia, and they're hoping to crown him the largest cow. I kind of just feel like if he's younger than Bellino, he kind of just has to wait a little bit to see what happens to Bellino, because something might happen to Bellino, and then Knickers could be crowned the largest cow. I don't know if a cow is the right word, since apparently, according to this article, Knickers is a steer, and Bellino is an ox. So, I don't know, a bovine of some kind, I guess. He is hoping to become crowned the largest steer according to Guinness Book of World Records. And also, apparently, Knickers is not only giant and has a large physical presence on this farm where he lives, he also has a very large, more emotional presence, because he is a big friend to the other cows that are on this farm. So if you apparently, according to the farmer, if you put Knickers into like a paddock with the other cattle, they all seem attracted to him. And so kind of like if he starts to walk somewhere, there'll be just a trail of cattle following him just to go with him. And I don't know, maybe if I was a tiny cow and like my big friend was going somewhere, I would just go with them so that like something doesn't happen to me, you know, like, oh, the farmer hasn't like taken him out yet, so maybe if we stay with him, we'll live longer. I'm not really sure. But I understand cows. I know why you would do that. That makes sense to me. Anyway, this is adorable. And I really feel like this is like a heartwarming story because I just think he's adorable. He's so big, and he just seems to be so friendly. The other cows like him, or they're scared of him. I'm not really sure. But as I had mentioned that this is such a heartwarming story, it makes me think of other heartwarming stories. And sometimes when I've listened to all the podcasts that I usually listen to on my list and I want to switch it up a little bit, I enjoy reading, but I don't always have time to sit down and read a book. So if I want to read another heartwarming story, like Knickers, but, you know, maybe go to some other short stories or maybe a novel that'll make me feel all warm and fuzzy inside, you might want to try Audible, because that's what I want to do. That way I can listen to Audible in the car, on the go, at the gym, no matter where I am, even sometimes at work. And I think that's helpful. So if you are interested in Audible, right now for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Audible for just $6.95 a month. And that's more than half off the regular price. So you can give yourself the gift of listening along with a lot of others around you. And you can get this great deal on Audible. You go to audible.com/GSMC Weird News, or you can text the code GSMC Weird News to 500500. And again, that is on Audible. And you go to audible.com/GSMC Weird News. So give the gift of listening this holiday season. Gift yourself something that is warm and fuzzy and will make you feel joy, just like how the story about Knickers makes me feel joy. So thank you. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be right back.
This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Welcome back to the Weird News Podcast. To finish up the show today, I want to talk about another pretty interesting story. So, if you have a cat, you know that during the holidays, when there are Christmas trees, some cats really like to climb up into the tree or just like tear the ornaments off, because all the other times throughout the year when they just see like shiny spherical shapes, they just think they're a cat toy. But then as soon as they're like hung on a tree, they just become non-cat toys, which a cat does not understand. So you know how frustrating that can be to have a Christmas tree with a cat, but lucky for you, there is a British company that is selling a cat-resistant Christmas tree, which basically, if you look at it, it's just a Christmas tree that's like half of a Christmas tree. So it is being sold online, and it's like the top half of an artificial Christmas tree, and then the bottom half just has no branches. And so the retailer Argos is posting this online. It's a 6-foot, and they're calling it a half parasol Christmas tree. And all the branches are at the top, so you can still put your ornaments up there. But it's actually perfect, they say, for like cats or even for babies. If you have babies that like want to pull stuff off the tree and they can like just crawl around on the ground, which I have definitely heard is an issue, and I could really see that. So they're also saying that the benefit is there's just extra room to stack presents. But when I look at this, I kind of just see like a naked tree. Like it just looks like someone just took like a tiny little like bauble for the top and put it on a pole. Which is a little strange, but I definitely understand why people would want this just in case. And if you are interested in buying it, the tree is $42.47, and then you can get another version that is coated in fake snow for $47.78. But again, it kind of just looks like a little hat, like placed on like a pole. And the pole kind of it looks like that you can decorate it with like lights at the bottom too, but this way your ornaments aren't hanging down. And I have seen online that some people just put like a tiny Christmas tree and they just kind of like put it like in the corner of the room, like raised up above the ground, like somehow. So I guess you could do that. But if you want something simpler, then you can just buy this tree. And that way you can just stack extra presents and not have your feline friends tearing all your ornaments down. Also, we are not being sponsored by this company. This is not an ad. I just found this I just saw this weird naked tree being sold for like $50, which I thought was really weird. But if you want like a little half tree so that your baby doesn't like pull things off the tree, then I feel like this would be the right thing for you. So their quote about the presents is about like if Santa's extra generous and you just need more room. So sure, if you feel like you've been really good and Santa's going to stack a bunch of presents and you don't have a cat or baby around in your house, you can still get this tree and then just stuff more stuff down there. Or if you're like really tall and you like don't even see the ground, you know, like you're not even looking whatever is underneath your knees and you just want something in your like line of sight, maybe all you need is the top of a Christmas tree. I don't know. That is definitely not a problem that I have. But I think that's kind of strange, but you know, whatever floats your boat. So if you guys want to get that for Christmas, go ahead. I encourage you. Anyway, thank you all so much for listening to this GSMC Weird News podcast, and I hope you all tune in next time.